Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healing Wednesdays and the Circle of 12. I'm Lee Carroll.
And I'm Monika Muranji.
Well, we're back again. Every Wednesday evening of the year, we come together with special guests, questions and answers, meditation, and channeling. This is our once-a-month free program, so YouTube subscribers, welcome to you. Also, welcome to all of those of you who are joining us for the first time and anywhere on the planet. And our diagnostics show that there's always many of you who are here for the first time.
And a special welcome to the members of the Circle of 12 who receive one of these programs every single week of the year. If you're not a member, but you follow the Circle of 12 on YouTube, this is your 24th free program. If you are a member, well, this is program number 93. And you can find all of the other programs that you've missed from the beginning of the series with a subscription from cryonmasters.com to this weekly program. All members receive access to every single Healing Wednesday program we've ever done, and the library is building all the time. In addition, our members receive many extras, including a full index of all the programs.
And of course, the YouTube library is also growing and growing, and this library never expires, and you can watch these programs as long as you wish. So, YouTube subscribers, thank you for joining us, and please take a look at some of the great programs from the past with some wonderful guests that you may not know about. And of course, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, click the subscribe button to be a regular part of this profound and free experience.
And what we wanted to share with you all now is some quotes from Kryon, because Kryon often speaks in metaphors, and I thought it would be great if we could have Lee unravel some of those metaphors that Kryon gives us in those quotes. So here's a quote Kryon gave us about the shift that is happening on the planet. Collectively, you control the speed of this shift. Very few of you can make a great change with what you do personally with yourself right now.
Well, this statement is really about a statement from Kryon about the power of the individual and the huge change of landscape of our reality right now. Speaking for myself, I think our bias is that we're just thinking ourselves as small people, and that what we do as one person is like a drop in the ocean, kind of meaningless. What can one person do, really? I mean, one person who is not famous or doesn't have a great influence on the planet. A while ago, I gave an example that I'm going to now give again. I'll give some more on this as well, but I would really love you to hear this and understand this. The new energy on the planet has changed the playing field of energy. Light is beginning to show itself in many ways, and we're just learning how this all works. I think the largest change is what I'll call the canvas for the painting you are creating as a light worker. For many years, most of us have been working towards a more compassionate earth. There didn't seem to be any result to our efforts when we looked around the planet. Imagine you're doing a painting on a very rough, dirty, difficult surface, like a dirty brick wall, for instance. You paint the color of kindness and compassion, and it barely sticks to the canvas. Then it fades away. Then you do it again. Then your brush needs replacing, on and on. I know this is metaphoric, but it's like trying to push a boulder uphill. It has to be held in place even while you're resting. This is not easy. And if you're not careful, you'll lose it, and you have to start again. Well, that's what spreading love has been like for so long. It's been very difficult without the energy we have today. It's been old and stale energy, but suddenly things are changing. Instead of pushing that boulder uphill, the surface seems to be more level. It's not your imagination that more and more people are accepting what you're trying actually to do. That canvas you're painting with, the color of love, it becomes smooth and inviting. Beyond that, something magical is happening. Wherever you put your compassionate brush, the color spreads. Don't you love that? The rough bricks are beginning to turn into a great painting surface that begs for more. The drop in the ocean that you felt like before is starting to change to a catalyst within the ocean for complete change. When you put a drop of red dye into a warm water in a bathtub, it starts to dilute itself immediately without your help. Soon the entire bathtub is pink with the one drop. So Kryon's prophetic words are that by your efforts, just the old souls like you, working for the planet, can speed up the shift we are in. You might say that this is what you came for. It's actually starting to happen. I've seen it. I think some of you have. The dye of love is spreading by itself with a new catalytic energy, and vice versa. The way to slow this effect down, by the way, is by giving up, or doing nothing, or buying into the fear that so many wish to spread right now. Now is the time to try new things and stand up and be kind, even if it's tough. You're going to be seen as wise, not unusual. People are going to wonder what you know that they don't, that allows you to be peaceful in hard times. And only if they ask, if they do, tell them that love and kindness and compassion are the new tools of the planet and that you're trying them out. And that you believe that we can be ambassadors for this shift with love and kindness and use these principles because it's contagious. Listen, this is important. You don't have to give them a crying book or tell them ever about this program. Just love them. Here's a wonderful quote from the beginning of a profound book we presented on this very show on May 4th. The guest was Dr. Clint Rogers, and the book is called Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. That show, by the way, is in your YouTube Healing Wednesday playlist. You can see it there. Here is the quote. I didn't come to teach you. I came to love you. Love will teach you. You see how this is an empowering message? You don't need a guru. You just need love.
I love that quote. I didn't come to teach you. I came to love you. Love will teach you. I think that if we use that as our compass, my goodness, what an amazing planet we are creating. I'd like to share another quote from Kryon so that Lee can explain the metaphor behind it. And here is the quote. If you profoundly change something in the circle of time, you rewrite the future.
You may think that you know what that means, but there are hidden meanings, I think, in the statement from Kryon. So let's just look at it. First, look at the verbiage. Kryon says, the circle of time. I don't know about you, but no study I've had in physics or any science told me about the circle of time. Time, according to Einstein, is the fourth dimension that we live in. It's not necessarily a circle, but rather a very straight line as it's perceived by us. It's the past, the present, the future, all represented by a very long railroad track in this metaphor that we're traveling on. And also, according to Einstein, how fast or slow it goes is variable depending upon who's looking at it. So how fast they are going from perhaps other railroad tracks next to ours, parallel to ours, that's that relativity. But it's not a circle. So what's that circle thing about? Have you ever heard that time repeats itself? Well, according to many sociologists, it actually seems to. Generation after generation fight horrible wars, and their children, then, they do it again. We repeat the most dysfunctional actions over and over, sometimes expecting different outcomes. Einstein also said this. He said, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Don't you love that? Kryon tells us that the old energy has created a repeatable circle of time that keeps us from seeing our own dysfunction and changing it. But again, something is happening. It has happened on this circle. Let me describe it in the railroad track metaphor. Imagine that Kryon and many who study humanism are correct. We're on a circle of time, like a toy train around a Christmas tree. Except in this particular instance, in this metaphor, instead of being a small circle, it takes generations to go around one time. It's huge. So the size of it keeps us from being aware that we're repeating a dysfunction over and over. Only history shows us that. Human nature never changes on this metaphoric track, and the energy of hate and fear, negativity, keep repeating and repeating, generation after generation. We, of course, are the train on this track, and we then chug along until a few old souls see something unusual. They see, actually, in this new energy, the track is curved ahead. Nobody saw that before. They see the circle and way ahead of it. So they put the intent of light in front of the train so it can see something it never realized before. I know all this is metaphoric, but stay with me. Every so often, in front of the train, there's a switch that can be engaged to take a new track. Who knew? Well, you want to answer for that? The real answer is this. Many of the indigenous of the planet knew. The ancient Hopi Indians, for instance, actually drew this on a rock, carved it in a rock. It's known as the Hopi Indian Prophecy Rock. The carving on the rock clearly shows that track switch coming and the new path. And according to their prophecy, the timing of that is just about now. But here's the profound meaning of this quote from Kryon. I'll quote it again. If you profoundly change something in the circle of time, you rewrite the future. All right? If enough old souls shine light on the track, humanity will take that sighting switch and get off the circle. You follow me? According to Kryon, we've already done it and have changed our future. Anybody feel that we're on a new track yet? Look around. Is there part of humanity that wants us to return to the old circle? Have you seen that? I have news. It's too late for them. We already took the sighting. We are off of the old circle. The difficult part of that is that nobody has ever been on that track before, this new one, the sighting. It's different. Many are afraid. Our job is to show them light on this track, and that it is showing a kinder future ahead. Yes, we can change the future. We already really have. And that's what Kryon meant. This really is new. We've got work to do.
And I'd now like to take one question before we go into a meditation and channel. And this question comes from Cheryl. Cheryl is in Sydney, Australia. And she's asking, with the new energy of compassion coming in, which Lee just explained, I'm finding this very hard with certain people. However, I have unlimited compassion for animals. How can I find the same energy for certain people?
Well, Cheryl, here's the answer. Just spend time with animals. I'm sorry. Okay, this is such a true statement. Many are finding the comfort of animals far better than any human. You're not alone. My answer, perhaps overly simple, is to allow this known scenario of the unconditional love in an animal to be your model and your guide to those around you. So here it is. Regardless of how they react to it, or to you, these are the instructions that Kryon has given many, many times, and here it is. Love unconditionally the humanity around you, regardless of how they love you back. So, you say that you're finding this hard to do? Me too, Cheryl. Me too. So let's acknowledge something. We are light workers, and this is called work, and now you know why. And you really don't know what happens, like after you leave somebody like that, what they do to somebody you've shown compassion to. You may feel that they are totally ignorant of any kind of kindness, and perhaps a moron of compassion. Oh dear, oops, did I say that? That wasn't very loving. I got it, wasn't very loving. But let's be honest, that's often the way we feel, don't we? So if you have one of those days where anything kind you try to do just seems to hit a wall, just go home and give extra love to your animal in your life. Sometimes I think the animals are, these souls are here for exactly that, to help us during this shift.
I think that's exactly right, Lee. And I've mentioned to you before that I struggled with humans on the planet because how bad they were behaving to our planet with all the environmental problems and everything else. And yet Kryon's words and messages completely changed my mind about all of it, and how we are here in a test of consciousness, and the planet knows this, and the planet is supporting us in this decision.
Cheryl is so right, because I can't tell you the number of people who say, I fight myself all through work. When I come home to my animal, this is such a relief. They love me so much. And so it's a good question, but I really do feel the answer is correct.
I think so too. And it's about having compassion for yourself in that moment.
Yes.
Because when you are with that certain person and you react, it's actually not about them. It's about you. And then you don't like feeling like that. Well, at least I don't. I don't like feeling upset and angry and annoyed that this certain person is acting in a way that hurts me. So it's, again, not about them, it's about us. And that's why the messages of Kryon are so impactful for me, because it takes you back to the core self, to know that it's not about them, it's about you. So with that, let's go into a meditation and hear a little more from Kryon. And I invite you to close those beautiful, precious eyes of yours and allow yourself this moment to be completely internal moment for you, free of distraction from anything that was happening during the day, and free of distraction from anything that is going to come after this program. Just let all of those thoughts go into the background. You can still observe them if your mind wants to be busy with thoughts and intellect, but don't attach yourself to those thoughts. Just let them come in and go out. And the more you can keep your eyes closed and focused on the inside, the more your body can start to relax and realize that you deserve to have this moment where you can reconnect with the core essence that is within you. That unconditional love you feel from animals, it comes because it's connected in you. It doesn't come from the animal. They're just a conduit of you connecting with that essence of love that's inside of you. And so let's allow that to blossom by taking time whenever we need it to come back to that core essence of who we truly are. It can just simply be closing your eyes and doing deep breathing, and just remind yourself to do that regularly through the day if it's needed, particularly when you're with certain people that pull you away from that core source of love that's within you. And from this beautiful posture of love, let us now move into a channel from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. There are so many of you who have asked the question, how much influence do I have? And so many of you are asking about yourselves, not just the planet. Some who are esoteric thinkers say this: how much influence can I have as an old soul about the baggage I came in with? This is a subject, and it's all about what some are calling the Akash. If you've not heard this before, it's a very popular subject these days, and even psychologists are beginning to realize that you come in with certain kinds of influences that are seeming to be baked into your consciousness, that they didn't come from anything you experienced on the planet. Somehow your personality comes in a certain way, and then it's also shaped by what you experience. If you're an esoteric thinker, if you believe perhaps in past lives, like 2/3 of the world does, you realize that there is a system called the Akashic Record. What happens in certain past lives seems to then come in with you, and there's a reason. Some have called it karma, and we have told you before that this is something in this new energy that we've asked you to drop completely. It's no longer needed. But you still have that which is the Akash. And the Akash is what you have experienced in past lives that comes in with you. In the past, this has a reason, so that you will then settle it, or perhaps act on it, or do something different to dismiss it. That has been the thinking, and it's been for centuries. This has started to shift and change. There are those who would be critical of that statement and say, no, these are bases of some kind of axioms of esoterics. They never change. They do change, dear ones, because you change. If the energy of consciousness is becoming more benevolent and the shift on the planet is before you, do you see how that would then change how you learn and what you learn with? And so what I'm going to tell you, I have said before, but you need to hear it again. How influential can you be on the baggage you bring in with you? Sometimes that baggage controls your life and you don't even know it. Lifetime after lifetime, perhaps, of sorrow. Lifetime after lifetime of dying early, perhaps, and you come in not expecting much from the planet. You come in and you don't smile much, very serious, wanting to know when the other shoe is going to drop. That's what it creates. And that's just something you come in with. And that's something that your parents deal with and your teachers deal with. And yes, your spiritual leaders deal with. How to get beyond that which seemed to be baked in to a consciousness when it arrived. That's the Akashic record. How much influence do you have on that? What I'm going to tell you next is known by the ancients' masters. You have full influence. I want to take you to a place in India called Varanasi. And for hundreds of years, in a teaching about karma, the Akash, they know that if they go to the river there and bathe in it, the belief is this, that they can influence that which was baked into them when they came, the Akash, the karma. And they can be free of it to a certain extent so that they can proceed with their lives, or the next time around it'll be different. In other words, their belief is what I'm telling you. So for those who are critical of this message, that you have power over your Akashic baggage that you bring in, I'll tell you this, it's not a Kryon statement. This is historic. It's part of the belief system of millions and millions of people already. But this may be new to you. How much influence do you have over what you think is something that is part of you and never will go away? The answer is this. This is a new energy on the planet. I've talked about it already. My partner has talked about it even in this program. We are going to start to see a change in what some call the light and dark quotient. Right now, even as I give this message, there are some listening to this perhaps for the first time and say, what is he talking about? There's war. We haven't had war for a long time. Suddenly there's war, and Kryon says it's getting lighter. I'll say it again if you haven't heard it. Isn't it interesting that we suddenly have a war? Who expected that? And the answer is, this is from those who wish to pull us backwards, pull you backwards, pull us as your guides backwards into a very old energy of war on this planet. It's the old circle of time. That's what you're seeing. And you also have seen the reaction to it from the planet. This is all new. Are you seeing this? If you're only simply seeing the news and seeing the horror of war, you've missed it. There's something bigger going on. This energy, this lighter energy, is going to be of compassion and kindness like never before. A world that's starting to see one another as they see their family, instead of some foreign individuals in a foreign culture with a foreign language. The internet has really helped that. But more than that, the collection, the coherence of consciousness, where you start to see one another so differently than you've ever seen each other before. And in that, there are new tools. The tool set that I'm talking about is the one that's starting to blossom in every human being. The DNA is changing, and we've told you that before. Some of you are starting to accept it, realize it, and move forward with it. Some who have felt nothing is possible in my life, I cannot change who I am or what I am, are starting to have an inkling to change your mind about a tool set that you might have that you never felt you did before. And you do. You really do. And part of that tool set is to fully and completely change that which you came in with that might affect your life. And the next question, and I know those of you who are listening and saying, okay, I believe that. It's true. How? Those in India said, well, you go to a certain place and do a certain thing. It's actionable things, and it still is. But you don't have to go to India. You don't have to bathe in the river. And even those things are limited compared to what you can do today. Would you like to drop inappropriate karmic things? Drop inappropriate, I will say for the time, Akashic remembrances. We have given you examples of this. The Circle of 12 has done the same thing. But I'll tell you this, there is so much power in intent. If you're really interested, you can start that process. Your intent to do so is seen as permission for you to change that was inside your DNA. That's where it's kept. I've told you that. Did you know that pieces and part of your DNA come with you from past lives, carrying certain things, the Akashic record for one? What do you do? Dear Spirit, I have intent to drop these things that I don't need anymore in this lifetime. Can you say that? Dear Spirit, right now, I am dropping those things that do not propel me into kindness and compassion and keep me from joy and peace. Dear Spirit, I am in charge of my own biology. My soul and I together drop the inappropriate things that would get in the way of peace, joy, compassion, and happiness, or the rest of my life. I now have that power, that ability, and I'm doing that in front of all who wish to watch. I am changing my DNA. And with that, I proclaim a new lightness of spirit, a new kind of kindness for myself, which will occur. One where I can look at myself in the mirror and say, I am indeed beautiful in the eyes of all that is, because I have God inside, because I no longer have a stone to carry around or pull me backwards. I am that I am. That is your power today. An empowerment that we are telling you is new and different and belongs to you. That is your lineage. That is why you came. Congratulations, dear ones, on what you are becoming. And so it is.
And bring those beautiful energies from Kryon with you as you make this transition from that wonderful soul connection place, and bring your awareness back into your body. And if you've had those eyes closed, I invite you to open your eyes, because we're moving into another part of our program where Lee and I are joined by a phenomenal guest by the name of Dr. Joe Vitale. And I want to make sure Dr. Joe is on the Zoom feed with us. Joe, are you there?
I am here, front and center, entirely present and very excited.
Oh my goodness. Well, have we got an amazing guest for all of you watching now?
We're a very popular guest, I would say, and probably one of the most popular we've had. And I want to give you some information on Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe is an internationally famous author, marketing guru, movie, TV, and radio personality, musician, and one of the top 50 inspirational speakers in the world. His many best-selling books include The Attractor Factor, Attract Money Now, Zero Limits, and his latest release is The Miracle, 6 Steps to Enlightenment and Anything is Possible. A popular leading expert on the law of attraction in many movies, including The Secret, Dr. Joe discovered the missing secret not revealed in the movie The Secret. Interested?
Well, if you are interested, stay tuned, because I have a feeling Dr. Joe is going to share that missing secret with us later. But let me continue telling you about him. He's been on Larry King Live, Donnie Deutsch's The Big Idea, CNN, CNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox News, Fox and Friends, and Extra TV. And he's also been featured in the New York Times and Newsweek. Now, one of his most recent accomplishments includes being the world's first self-help singer-songwriter, as seen in Rolling Stone magazine. And to date, he's released 17 albums. That is an amazing achievement. And several of his songs were recognised and nominated for the Posse Award, and it's regarded as the Grammys of positive music.
Well known not only as a thinker, but as a healer. That's why we're here. Dr. Joe is known for helping to clear people's subconscious minds of limiting beliefs. I love this part. He's also an authentic practitioner of modern Ho'oponopono. Now, we know what that is, and we really support it. Listen to this list, folks. He's a certified Reiki healer, certified Qigong practitioner, certified clinical hypnotherapist, certified NLP practitioner, ordained minister, and doctor of metaphysical science. Whew, I got to take a breath. Today, he is still very active in creating the Miracles Coaching and Zero Limits Mastery programs to help people achieve their life's purposes. Dr. Joe, welcome to our show.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this. I know one thing is I have to shorten my bio.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. It's like we look at that, and I love all of the flavors that make up who you are. And really, as people, we're not just one thing.
No,
we're many things.
And you heard me say musician, because I really relate to having this as part of your joyful experience.
Yeah.
So I want to start. What's the secret of this?
The missing secret.
What's the missing secret?
You know, everybody wants to know a secret. First, we have the movie The Secret, and then I follow up with, well, I didn't tell you the real secret. There's a missing secret. And everybody leans forward going, what's the secret, Joe? And all kidding aside, there really is a missing secret, which explains why a lot of people watch the movie The Secret, and then they end up sometimes getting what they want, but sometimes not. And then they become skeptical, then they become critical, then they become naysayers, then they become self-doubters of their own self-worth, their own power. So it's just a slippery slide down to darkness. And what I discovered is that there is a missing secret. I had been homeless at one point. I was in poverty for 10 years. During that time, which was back in the 1970s, there's no internet. Coaching was just Little League coaching and football coaching. We didn't have personal development coaches. We didn't have a lot of the things that we have and take for granted today. So my journey was pretty much solitary, and it was very grueling, and it took forever. I would read books like Think and Grow Rich, and then throw it against the wall because I was still broke. I was still starving. I was still struggling. It's like, what is this nonsense? People say they read Think and Grow Rich and they become rich. Something's missing. And I do what everybody does. I look at myself and I think, well, there must be something wrong with me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. And after I went through that exploration for almost 20 years, I discovered that, my God, there's a missing secret that virtually none of the other people in self-help or self-improvement, including Napoleon Hill, knew, let alone told anybody or wrote about or talked about. And what that missing secret is, we are largely driven by what's in our subconscious/unconscious mind. So when somebody like me, when I was broke, read Think and Grow Rich, I'm doing it on the conscious level. So I'm reading a book on the conscious level. I'm getting new information consciously, and I make new intentions. I intend to get out of poverty. I intend to be published. I intend to be an author. I intend to have money. All good intentions. But if in the subconscious mind, There are counter intentions, meaning limiting beliefs, negative data, stories that are about there's not enough, money's bad, money's evil, money corrupts, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you don't have the connections, you're cursed, you have evil in your history, your lineage, your background. If any of that is in the subconscious mind, it will stop, slow down, or completely wipe out the conscious intentions. So I found that the missing secret was we have to get clear of the blocks in the subconscious/unconscious mind in order for our consciously stated intentions to manifest. Once we get clear, we remove, we erase all the limitations, all that negativity, all the beliefs that for the most part we didn't even know were there, then not only can we have what we want, but we can have it at an accelerated rate because all the blocks are gone. Before we even started this interview, you asked me if I slept at night because you saw how many books I've written, how many CDs I was writing and recording. I've written 85 books. 85 books. I have 17 CDs. I'm in 20 movies, which a new one that I'm creating is coming out later in the year. I have 200 products. How does a man who was homeless and in poverty excel at such a productive, prolific, accelerated rate? By getting clear. Whenever there was a block in me, and in the beginning there was lots of them, and I found ways to use the missing secret and get clear of those blocks, then I can accelerate. Today, I can come up with a book idea and pretty much write it, finish it, and release it the same day, if not at least the same week. Because there's none of the self-sabotage, there's none of the self-doubt, there's none of the garbage, at least when it comes to books. I'm still human. I'm still going through the human experience and evolving. And whenever I go for something new, and this is true for everybody, whenever you go to acquire or attract something new, most likely you'll have blocks, hesitations, and doubts. Getting clear of those is the missing secret. Get clear of those, and now you can read Think and Grow Rich and Get Rich, or read any of the self-improvement books and have a clear path to the manifestation of what they were talking about. So that's kind of a wordy answer to what is the missing secret, but it's the idea that we have to get clear of the limiting beliefs in the subconscious, unconscious, in order to have what we consciously state we want.
Absolutely. And how I visualize it is an iceberg where you have the top part of the iceberg is your conscious, beneath the water is the rest of the iceberg you can't see, and that's the subconscious. So how do you help others to go into the unseen,
How do we get this clarity?
To get there?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? And there's lots of ways. In fact, I just came out with another, shouldn't surprise anybody, another brand new book called Your Unlimited Self. And I have 9 different ways to get cleared using the missing secret. But let me talk about a couple of them. One is coaching. I'm a great believer in coaching. I established what's called miracles coaching 20 years ago. 20 years ago. It's been proven, it's been tested. When you have somebody on the outside of you who's not buying into your own beliefs and not living in your reality that's created from your brain, they can reflect back to you what you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're doing, and you get to get a glimpse from the mirror that is the coach of what your programs are. And then you can change them, you can reduce them, you can clear them, and you can be free. That's why I started Miracles Coaching. But another thing, and you mentioned this in the introduction, is Ho'oponopono. I absolutely love Ho'oponopono, and I hope your people know about it. If not, please go and learn, because Ho'oponopono is the most profoundly simple method for transforming yourself, getting clear of these missing secret beliefs that are in our head. And you don't even have to know what the beliefs are, because Ho'oponopono is this Hawaiian healing system where you kind of have a dialogue with the creator, with the great something, with God, the divine, the benevolent big boss, whatever you want to call him, or it. And what you're doing is inside yourself, you're feeling that, okay, I'm trying to attract my soulmate. I'm trying to attract a healing. I'm trying to attract a breakthrough, but I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like there's something keeping me back. You don't have to know what the belief is. You don't have to know what the stuckness is. You don't have to know what the block is. You do know there's one because you feel it. As you feel it, you pretend you're talking to your connection to the universe, and you say 4 simple phrases. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. That's it. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you're saying it over and over. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. You can say it in any order, jumble it up. It doesn't really matter. You almost never say it out loud. You never have to say it to another person. This is your private prayer or petition, your communication inside yourself to whatever you feel, whatever you call the being that gave you life. It's the greater, higher power. So Ho'oponopono for me, and it is one of the 9 things in my new book, Your Unlimited Self, is one of the most powerful ways to get clear of these limiting beliefs. And the beauty is you don't have to know what the beliefs are. I've been doing Ho'oponopono for a decade and a half at this point. I've written 3 books about that and brought it to the masses. And what I'm doing now, it's become the background audio in my head. In the old days, I used to say it's the background tape, but we don't use tapes anymore, and it really dates me in terms of my age. So I just say it's the background audio. It's the self-talk. Right now, as I'm talking to people, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I offer that to people to use even right now. If somebody wants a healing, think of what's their desire is. Think of what their concern is. Think of what could be the block. You don't have to even name it. It's a private communication. You're feeling it inside yourself. As you feel it, pretend you're praying. You got on the phone and you're talking to the big honcho. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. It's as easy as that.
And I want to ask you if you use that prayer for others, because when I learned about Ho'oponopono, I was amazed that the gentleman who did this was looking at files for the people who were criminally insane in a psychiatric ward, didn't even see the patients, said that prayer for that person, and many of them walked out of that place without even knowing this prayer was being said for them, and were integrated back into society. So completely amazing. So I'd love you to share when you've used it for other people and some of the things you've witnessed.
That's a profound question, and it's a profound story. And when people really grab this, it's going to turn their brain inside out, because most of us are looking to the outside for our healing. We're looking to the outside for change. We want the world to change and then we'll feel better. We want the world to change and then we'll heal or allow ourselves to be healed. That's not how Ho'oponopono works. Ho'oponopono says the entire world and everybody on the outside of you is a mirror. It doesn't even exist. It's a projection from your subconscious mind. It's almost like we're walking through the dream state of life, and everything out there, including the people and the situations and all these things that irritate you, they don't even exist out there. It's all in you. So the very first thing to understand with Ho'oponopono is, and a lot of people don't like to hear this, you're 100% responsible for everything you experience. That means you don't get to blame anybody. There's no get out of jail card. There's no loophole that says, well, it was their fault. You never get to say that in Ho'oponopono, because the man who taught me Ho'oponopono was the therapist you were referring to in that story. His name was Dr. Hu Lin. He passed away this year. He and I wrote the first book. We did many events together. And in those events and in the book, he would often ask people, have you ever noticed that when there is a problem, you are there? And what he means is you experience it because you're the common denominator. You're the key element to knowing anything that there's even a problem. The person calling it a problem, the person experiencing it a problem is you. And where do you experience the problem? Inside yourself. You don't experience a problem out there. You might point out there and say, they are irritating me. But the irritation is in here. The need for healing is in here. And so even if there's other people out there and you say to yourself, boy, I wish my spouse would change, then I can heal faster. Wish my kids would listen to me and then I'd be more at peace. I wish my boss would treat me better. I wish my employees would be better. I wish my customers. That's pushing the power out there. And Ho'oponopono says it's all in here. So when you go to change anybody, you're never going to succeed, because the only person that needs changed is you. So you go inside yourself. You might think of the other person because the button that's being pushed is in you. It's not out there. The button's in you. So you go inside yourself and you're saying, my next door neighbor isn't mowing the grass and it looks terrible over there and it's really irritating me and I want a healing in this particular place. It's not about the next door neighbor. It's about the button that got triggered in you. So as you feel it inside yourself, this is when you again go to what I end up calling the great something with, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, which is very much a shorthand for saying, I'm sorry for the unconscious beliefs in me that are being triggered. Please forgive me or my ancestors, because Ho'oponopono said you could have had all this downloaded from your lineage, from DNA, from epigenetics. And please forgive my ancestors for any part they did in the programming of me to experience this as a problem now. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for removing this. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for handling the situation. I love you for Ho'oponopono. I love you for the healing. I love you for my life. I love you for the cleansing. I love you for the process. So I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Shorthand for much more that's going on. And what happens is that inside yourself, you start to get to a place of peace, serenity. There's a healing. And the healing is you're now at neutrality. The button that was being pushed is gone. When that happens, the outside reflects it. Suddenly the neighbor goes, you know what? I haven't cut my grass in a while. I'm going to go cut it. And they go and mow the lawn. In Dr. Who Len's case, when he was at the mental hospital for the criminally insane in Hawaii, and he looked at their charts, he was not trying to change them. He was trying to change himself. He was looking at charts and he was being repulsed. He was being angry. He was being guilty. He was being ashamed. He was being all kind of emotions. It was those emotions that he's trying to heal. When he heals it in him, it gets reflected in some sort of magical quantum physics, otherworldly, supernatural way that I can't explain. But I have seen it over and over again. And I've written 3 books about Ho'oponopono, and all of them have stories of everyday people that are doing this and experiencing shocking miracles. There you go.
I love that you said it's not about what's happening out there, it's about what's happening in here. And in other stories, same situation, let's use with the mowing of the lawn. When you change it in here, there can be healing done with, oh, I'm going to go and ask them if they need their lawn mowed and do it for them.
Right.
And then in that asking, they find out that they're caring for someone terminally ill, or there's some situation they had no idea about. So it's healing on so many levels in whatever way you look at it.
Is it possible we could have perhaps a little of this and you would give it to us in a short...
Do you want to lead us through doing a Ho'oponopono exercise?
We can do that right now for a couple minutes.
I think
everybody's agreed.
I think that would be very helpful.
We don't have to ask them. They agree.
We'll just call it a Ho'oponopono healing.
Great.
And we'll make it last just a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. What I would invite people to do is think of something that is bothering them right now. Mm-hmm. And it could be anything. It could be a person. It can be a situation. It could be a world event. There's lots happening in the world right now, and we're reacting to it. So pick something that you're reacting to, something that you would like to change. And once you have that, notice how you feel about it. If it's bothering you, there's some sort of emotion there. And if you can put a name to it, if you can label it, that's fine. If you can't, it's okay, because you're feeling it. And you could be feeling anger, you can be feeling rage, impatience, confusion, curiosity, desperation. There's all kinds of feelings. Whatever it is okay. So you have the situation, you have the feeling, you know it's inside of you. You can feel it inside of you. You may or may not know what beliefs or stories are around it. If they're there, wonderful. If not, you don't need them to heal them. You have the feeling, and with the feeling, you can have a healing. So now you can close your eyes if they weren't already closed, and kind of pretend that you're going to talk to the benevolent creator, whatever that means to you. I have been calling it the great something. Joseph Campbell called it the great mystery. There may be a phrase that everybody in this group uses that I'm not aware of, but whatever it is, allow that to be who you're going to talk to. So as you're feeling this concern, this issue, this emotion, your eyes are closed, now pretend that you're speaking to the great something, and you are reverently, genuinely saying inside yourself, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you can say it 2 or 3 times at my speed, or you can say it slower or faster, but say it with feeling, like you're really feeling these phrases, like, I'm sorry, I feel sorry. And please forgive me. You didn't do anything wrong. You were simply unconscious. So you're saying, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for being unaware. Thank you for the healing, for the clearing, for the resolving of this. I love you. Oh, I love you from my heart, from my life, for this process, for this group, for this healing. And you can say it another time or two if you like. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you can, of course, continue this, or for purposes of this event in this moment, you can end it now, but notice how much better you feel, and be expectant of a change on the outer because of the change and the healing on the inner. And welcome back.
I'd like to tell those who are listening perhaps, and this is new to them, that Dr. Joe features zero limits living. That means that this process and the others that he might give, it's in all categories. It has to do with everything, the disease in your body, or the joy that you're missing, or the partner that you want, or the money that's coming, anything that holds us back. This is the key. We have taught this, and it's getting rid of the subconscious thoughts and the baggage that you bring in. So this is why this is so important, and I encourage all of those of you who would like to know more about this, not only go to his website, and there's some things coming up, but watch the show again and participate in that that Joe just did. This is wonderful. What have you seen personally that as a result of this that maybe is one of your favorites, Doctor?
Well, I've seen so many things because, as you pointed out, you can use this for anything. And I'm glad you said that, because I've heard people use it for their animals. They've used it for their relatives. They used it for interpersonal relationships. They used it in an IRS audit. They used it when there were a lawsuit against them, and all of what looked like hell was breaking loose. Personally, one of the most powerful stories to me is a personal one, and I think I put it in my second book, which was called At Zero. It's the story of, this was several years ago, my mother was dying, and I was traveling, speaking, and all over the place. I don't even know where I was, but everybody was being called back to Ohio, which is where I was born and raised. My mother was in the intensive care, and they were bringing people in because she was going to die. And we all went in that room, and this was in intensive care. There were only 5 other patients in the room, and 4 of them died while I was there, which shows you how intense this was. I got chills thinking about this, how intense all of this was. And here I am, travel weary, and I'm confused, and I'm the guy who talks about magic and miracles. I wear an Expect Miracles t-shirt. I was in the movie The Secret, and I'm thinking, I can't save her. So I've got that anger and I got that frustration, and I'm in the room, and everybody, my father is there, my 2 brothers, my sister, and everybody's confused and they're grief stricken and they're in shock. Nobody knows what to do. So I sit beside my mother in bed and I do Ho'oponopono. And I'm not doing it to heal her. This is the big mistake people do with Ho'oponopono, is that they direct it at the outside. And it has to be directed at the inside, realizing the source of the creation is in you, not out there. And it's tough to do, especially it's your mother laying there and I'm sitting beside her and I'm doing, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, inside myself. I just kept doing it. And I don't know if I did it for 45 minutes or 2 hours. But the nurse had come in at one point and said we all had to leave, visiting hours were over, come back tomorrow. So we left. And I would say I was, in all honesty and transparency, I was not in a place of total peace, but I was better. I felt like I had diluted a whole lot of my concern and my anxiety and my grief and got to a place more of trust. Like life and death are part of the life process. And I got more in alignment with that. And then left. Came back the next day. My mother's sitting on the side of the bed, putting her socks on, and she goes home. She lives for the next 4 years.
Wow. Wow.
Did Ho'oponopono do it? Did I do it? Did the great something do it? Was the combination of all of it? All I can tell you is the more I got at peace, the more the outer reflected the peace and mirrored it.
What I sense, that sense of peace you created was either way for your mum, you were at peace.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And so the outcome,
thank you, that's it.
The outcome was like the icing on the cake, but already you had stepped aside and were at peace.
I think somehow we become a broadcaster at that moment in time of that peace that we have, and it just because it's infectious.
Yeah.
But the more important thing, even that it is infectious and it is making a difference, and that's all important. But the key thing that Monika just said is that you are at peace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Without trying to anticipate the outcome. Right. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Part of our blocking points. I want to tell everyone about your website, which is zerolimitslivingtv.com. So, I mean, it's going to be easy to Google Dr. Joe Vitale, and you have YouTube channels as well with lots of information, but that's the website. And there's a special offer on right now. I mean, amazing. You get 3 Zero Limits Living programs for, check it out, $3. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And that one is on zerolimitsmethod.com. Yeah. Very easy to find. And is there any last words you want to share with our beautiful community before we go to a break?
Oh, I want to say thank you. I am very honored to be here. What I didn't get a chance to say is that I have been a fan of the Kryon materials for 2 decades, over 2 decades. And I remember so loving the books as they came out that I would go to the bookstores and I would just be waiting impatiently for the next one to be on the shelf. That's how much I loved and still love them, and was eagerly soaking them up. That was food and still is food for the soul. Oh. So I'm honored to be here and have a chance to say thank you. Thank you.
Well, that touches my heart. Doctor, thank you so much. Thank you.
How wonderful. Well, I am reinvigorated. I don't know about all of you, but Ho'oponopono works. It is amazing, the peace you can create within yourself. We're now going to take a 10-minute break, but I do encourage you to go and check out more of Dr. Joe Vitale. Welcome back, everyone. How amazing was Dr. Joe Vitale?
I loved that. That was so good. That just falls right within everything we teach, and it was wonderful to hear him talk.
Absolutely. And I've known about the Ho'oponopono before having Dr. Joe talk us through it, but the way he explained it made it so simple.
Oh, yeah.
And we overcomplicate things as humans.
I agree.
We make things more complicated than they need to be.
We know why he is so popular now, so authentic and so beautiful to hear him discuss and explain things.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I loved that he shared he'd been listening to Kryon as well.
That was a surprise.
Wasn't that beautiful?
No idea.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's part of truth is truth.
Yep.
And when you get in touch with truth, is you recognize it and resonate.
Yeah, so thanks again, Joe.
I hope everyone goes and checks out his amazing offers that he's got as well, and the YouTube videos that he has. Very helpful. So I loved that his T-shirt was "Expect Miracles." Not everybody saw that, but he was wearing a T-shirt that said "Expect Miracles."
Yes,
and
it was.
that's what this program is also about, is to expect miracles and to help those who are wanting a miracle, because we're in a healing program and there's many people that need a miracle in their life right now in whatever form.
So we're inviting you to participate in this week's Miracle Moments, where all of us can come together, help others and ourselves. I'd like to ask Monika again to explain how this works. We know that together we can create the right energy, the right time for those ready to receive it.
And so we know that we are all connected in a unified field of energy. We're all one. It's very difficult for us to understand that and feel that when we look in the mirror and we see one person. And yet we have people on the planet that have been connecting with the field and using their intentions to connect and send energy, and there's been healings result. And one person in particular comes to mind, Lynn McTaggart, and her Power of 8 intention groups, where they will send intention to someone within the group. The information from Kryon is that at a quantum level, all of those intentions are known. And so trust that those who have requested a miracle moment, they're known by the Creator, the great everything. I liked how Dr. Joe put that into context for us. The great everything knows exactly who is asking for a prayer or help or benevolent energies or a miracle being sent to them right now. And collectively, as we join together, that desire to help those becomes amplified even further. And so I'd like to invite you in this moment to close your eyes and join together with me and my intention to find that place of peace within myself. I invite you to find that within yourself. And together, as we all connect, this bubble of peace that we have inside connects with each other, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as that bubble of peace becomes greater than all of us put together, we can now visualize, feel, sense, or imagine that anyone on the planet right now who is requesting our help or requesting prayers of spirit to come to them, that bubble now includes them. And feel, sense, imagine, or visualize a blanket of peace surrounding this planet and hugging every single human, especially those who in this moment need to feel that their life matters, that they are important, that they're included, that they are known by the great Creator of everything. And I want to remind you that you too are included. As you are thinking of all of those who in this moment need this, I want you to receive that returning wave of love coming back to you. And as you feel it enter into your heart, feel that amplify and send that back out again. And you may even realize that what we're doing is a continuous wave, an infinite wave that will continue even beyond this moment. And so just trust that the process has begun and will continue. And we can now tell Kryon we are ready to come a little closer.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon. Come a little closer. There are so many of you who ask such important questions. As it was pointed out today, especially in that which was given in the information of love, information of forgiveness, that truly all of the answers may very well rest in you. It's not about the things that you wish to create in your life, it's about what you wish to happen within yourself that would then help create the things in your life. This, dear ones, is the message and has always been the message of Kryon. That as you go, so is your life. So many times that we have sat before you and given you information that how you act and what you expect and what comes out of your mouth is like a menu. A menu that you would have at dinner. I'll have this, I'll have that, I'll have this, and then it comes to you. And so many of you are not aware of the energy that goes out. This loosely called the law of attraction is real, and so many have seen it as real. It's one thing to realize that you create all of that which you don't want in your life, and it's another to realize that reversing it might very well create everything you do want. That indeed is the subject of this meditation. In a moment or two, we're going to do what we always do. There's a metaphor we set up for those who have not seen it before, where we cross a bridge. And this is a metaphor of crossing from an unknown to a known, or a known to an unknown, depending upon which way you cross it. And you go both ways, because at the beginning, we cross into the unknown. And at the end, you're welcome to come back. But some of you have realized that this exercise, the more you do it, the more it melds together. And that unknown is the portion that so many of you are seeking. That is your soul portion. That is the all that is portion. There are so many spiritual leaders who have always told you that there is an element of the Creator inside you. Some have said God inside. Others have said Creator inside. It doesn't matter. The wording doesn't matter. Is it possible that inside you are the tools from the very energy that created everything? This, of course, is the basis of spirituality. That there is a greater you, if you wish. There is a greater source than you, if you wish. But we teach that it's all together. The oneness that is sought by so many all over the planet, in so many lands, is the oneness not just with all things together on the planet, but the oneness with all things that exist anywhere. It's a oneness that says you are bigger than you think. And when you start understanding that bigness, then you have to ask, well, why don't I feel it? Where is it? How do I get to it? What can I do with it? Welcome to the Circle of 12. This is the process, the exercise, the visualization, whatever you want to call it, that allows you to go to that place that formerly you haven't been able to go to easily. This new energy on this planet is in favor of you discovering you. You might say that the ground is now tempered with love. That where you walk, there are things to discover that you've never seen before. But there's part of you which has to acknowledge it. There are still those around who wish to then say, well, nothing is good here. Nothing that I do will make any difference, and wherever I go, there's trouble. That's quite a menu, dear ones. Have you thought about that? What do you verbalize out loud to your friends? Perhaps you might catch yourself sometimes when something happens and you say, I knew that would happen. And you just verbalize something that you acknowledged that you had expected something poor and you got it. And here comes the waiter with the meal, put right in front of you. Wow, you ordered it. There's a bigger story here. What if you could reverse that? Not just eliminate it. What if you could reverse that? Well, first you're going to have to change your menu. And I mean what's on the menu. What's on your menu today? Any day. And we're going to do that by going across this bridge in this circle of 12. And for the first time, there's going to be a new room. And for the first time, something new is going to happen there. And this is going to set a stage. And every week, for some weeks, we're going to do the same kind of meditation with different results each time. Is this real to you or not? Are you simply observing something you think is kind of cute? Or do you understand that being in two places at the same time is well within your ability? Oh, multidimensional creature you call human being. Are you aware that your DNA is multidimensional? Quantum biologists are, or you could argue with them if you wish. Everything about you says that there is multidimensionality in you, but you live only in 4. But you exist in many. That's why you have the intuition you do, coming right from your soul. That's why you have the miraculous healings that are possible, coming right from the other side, from your soul. You are more than you think. So I want you to go there with me right now. Crossing the bridge can be anything you wish, any size, any visualization, but you cannot see what's on the other side. It's not too long, it's just that there is a mist obfuscating anything beyond the middle of it. Where you are right now, you understand, you're comfortable, you're known. All is known. But when you cross the bridge, nothing is known. It's new. There are those who have done this enough to realize that all you're doing is meeting the unknown parts of you, and they're beautiful. Because across the bridge, you meet the divinity inside yourself. Let's cross the bridge together. Take my hand. Oh, one step at a time, dear ones, cross with me, cross with the others. Any way you see it happening, moving through that mist with a smile, because you are going to be presented with love, compassion, and the kindness of you. The core you, how you were created you. Not the you that carries in the baggage of past lives, or the you that has had to carry things that have happened with you and that trouble you. Not the you that may have a disease in your body or problems that you're trying to fix. This is the eternal you. This is the soul you. This is beautiful. This is gorgeous. This is where you have peace. This is the home you. This is where you go to when you're not a human, you. This is the place you come and go from, you. It's beautiful. I'll say it again. And when you're in this place, difficult to describe because only you know what's there, we often take you to a theater in the round, not this time. We've taken you to other places, other rooms, you might say. We've taken you to meet other masters, the Star Master, and so many other concepts. But this is new. Not only is it new, you're going to experience what we will call actionable items. That is, something is going to happen to you, for you, if you wish. And the to you and for you is because it's time. It's time. These are things which you could not even imagine could happen 20 years ago. This is a new era, a new time, a new earth. This is what we told you was coming. A time and a place where humanity can realize what it wants and create it. You are on the cusp of peace on earth and don't even recognize it, because you think, well, there's a war here, what's next? And what's next is a reaction from humanity that says, never again. This is not what we want, ever. You're in this beautiful place. Come through a doorway, a portal, if you wish. It says a signal. It's a signal. It's a metaphor. You're going from one place to another where something can happen. You move through the portal, and you come across something you really can't recognize. Is it a room or is it not a room? You can tell that it's a space that's dedicated for something, like a room would be if you'd go, for instance, to have some kind of an event take place, to a doctor or a reader. So it's a space where you know something is dedicated to happen. It's a space for you. But you can't see the walls. Or can you? If you look at them, are they too far away to see? Is that a star or two you see? It doesn't make any sense. You're in a multidimensional space of you. And it's grand, and it's beautiful, and has your name all over it. And something, you might even hear it. It's beautiful. And in the middle of that room, right in front of you, is a chair. This chair is different. Every single time we see this chair, I'm going to invite you to imagine it differently. You've all seen a chair. You can see a chair in your mind, perhaps. But this one, when you sit in the chair, it loves you. It becomes you. It's the most satisfying thing you've ever done. You sit, it encompasses you, it folds around you, it loves you. The chair is becoming part of your DNA, your bloodstream, your cells. It's in touch with you, and it's now ready to be activated. This chair has a name. The chair of transformation. And what comes next is who or what is necessary to imbue you and the chair with what is needed today. This is the first of many chair transformations and activations, but the first one is important. There's going to be a transformation in you, and I'm going to tell you, as this entourage comes forward, they're going to touch the chair, and some are simply going to stand back and hold their hands up. Some of you, around you, as I'm mentioning now to the entourage, some of you may touch this soul if you wish. Whatever you do, it's going to go right into that which is the subject for the day. Transformation of awareness. This is the first step. It's been mentioned. Even today's guests mention it. You are not fully aware yet, dear ones, of what is possible, or what is there, or what you might do, or who you are. And what you need, the first step, the first seed to be planted, you might say, is awareness. Do you accept this from this entourage, which will then give it to you? One of the steps we're going to ask every single time is you to give permission. If you wish, I give permission to have this entourage work with me today and give me awareness. I give permission, you might say, to have this entourage work with me today and give me what I need in awareness. If you wish to say that, then it begins. It begins right now. The entourage comes forward. I want you to feel this. The chair is beautiful. When the entourage steps forward and melds with the chair, you are one with this entourage. And what they wish to do is imbue you through your multidimensional DNA with a new gift, more awareness than you've ever had before of you. When you return from this episode, dear ones, from this healing, dear ones, and you recross that bridge, when you come back to that place where you're sitting, I want you to be aware of your awareness. Something is happening. If you gave permission, I'll tell you the first thing you're going to see, a new menu. And in that menu will be beautiful things that will happen the next day and the next day, an expectation of healing, an expectation of problems being solved, a beauty in front of you instead of a horror or negativity, a way of thinking that is different because suddenly you are aware of the bigger you. Let them pour that awareness into you right now. Pour it into you. Is this real or not? Are you here or not? When you gave permission, did you mean it or not? All of these things are your consciousness imbuing itself in the chair along with those who are helping you right now. This is a new time, dear ones. A new light is coming, dear ones. We need you and your awareness to change right now so that you can become that compassionate, divine individual you are meant for. That is the creative template. Stay. Stay and hear the music. Stay and have that imbued into you and expect great things. That's the beginning. We'll have a chair of awareness every week from now on for some time. This is the first one. I'm crying in love with all of you for what you have done, with what you're about to do, for the permission you've given. And so it is.